78-year-old Christina is on her way to her sister's funeral with her son Ali and her granddaughter Sanna. They're headed for Christina's hometown, somewhere in Swedish Lapland. But you can tell that she's not in the slightest way pleased to be heading there after so many years. It's almost as if she's being forced. On their way to the town, Ali starts playing yoik, which happens to be a traditional style of Sami singing. He gladly informs his mother that they got it for her since it's from her old hometown. But Christina tells Ali that she has no business with the Sami people, claiming that they are thieves and liars. They finally arrive at the funeral service, where Christina can hear the sermon claiming, in their native Sami language, that the most painful moment of her sister's life was when she lost her father and her sister. After the occasion, Christina is approached by a man who refers to her as Eli Marja. He tries to explain to her that her sister, Jenna, insisted on marking her reindeer every year as she hoped that Eli Marja would come back someday. However, Christina tells the man that she doesn't understand what he's saying, or maybe she's pretending not to understand. Later, while it appears that Ali and Sanna are having a great time, Christina isn't. She rushes towards Ali and tells him that they have to leave. Ali then informs her that they'll be staying at her late sister's family house, so Sanna can watch her first calf marking. But Christina prefers that they check into a hotel. Ali tries to convince her, but to no avail. At the hotel, Christina washes her face in the sink. She looks in the mirror and frantically uses her hair to cover her left ear. She then goes out to join the hotel residents, who are mostly Swedish people on vacation. The Swedish people talk about how noisy the Sami people are and how they're better off rearing reindeer. Later that evening, Ali comes to plead with Christina to accompany him to the calf marking ceremony. But later, we see Christina at some sort of party, which explains that she didn't go with Ali. Christina then suddenly remembers her childhood and the events that led to her leaving home in the first place. We are then taken back to the 1930s with 14-year-old Christina, whose actual name is Eli Marja. She returns to their settlement with her younger sister Jenna, where her mother approaches her to tell her that they should be on their way to the school by now. Apparently, Eli Marja and her sister Jenna were to be sent to a boarding school for Sami children. Jenna doesn't want to go, but she doesn't have much choice. Before leaving, Eli Marja is given her father's marking knife, and on the way to the school via boat ride, Eli Marja tries to comfort her sister by yoiking, which puts a smile on Jenna's face. After reaching land, the girls continue on foot, and when they're almost close to the school, they pass through a small neighborhood where a group of boys makes fun of them by calling them dirty Laps and all sorts of names. Finally, at the boarding school, the children are introduced to the blonde-haired teacher from Småland, Christina Lajler. Christina teaches them Swedish and to know their place as Sami children. During class, both girls are caught speaking Sami, and this results in a beating from Christina. Eli Marja, however, is off to a great start by being the best student. In return, Christina tells her that she will be greeting their visitors. As time goes on, Jenna gets bruised on the back of her hands from all the beatings, reason being that she doesn't speak Swedish. And when Eli Marja tries to tell her, Jenna walks out on her. One night, Eli Marja is busy spying on Christina in her home when Christina notices and comes out to invite her for coffee. Christina realizes that Eli Marja loves to read, so she encourages her by gifting her a book of poetry written by Edith Södergran. Eli Marja then asks Christina what she must know in order to become a teacher, and Christina tells her that she must know little about everything. Soon, Eli Marja starts to feel like she doesn't belong in the school anymore. On the day of the visit, while the girls are rushing to join the other students, the neighborhood boys scare Jenna. So Eli Marja tries to rub it in their face that they're not expecting visitors like them. Little did she know what she was getting herself into. Later, the long-awaited visitors finally arrive. Eli Marja finally puts her practice to the test and welcomes the visitors in Swedish. Unfortunately, it turns out that the visitors are actually scientists from the State Institute for Racial Biology in Uppsala. One morning, while she's on her way to school, she is body shamed and insulted by the neighborhood boys. Angered by this, Ellie Marja threatens them with her knife, but it's best to wield a weapon you know how to use. One of the boys grabs hold of the knife and asks the others to hold her down. Using the knife, he nicks the edge of her left ear as the Sami people do with reindeer, which explains why the older Ellie Marja back at the hotel was tugging her hair over her ear. Moving on, all this only makes her frustrations about being a Sami grow stronger. One evening, she's tempted to try on her teacher's dress that's hanging from a clothesline. She gives in to the temptation and finally changes from her gape tie into the dress, which looks really good on her, by the way. Just then, 3 young soldiers pass by on their way to a dance, but on seeing Ellie Marja, they stop to ask her to join them. She's shy at first and doesn't respond, so the boys leave. Much later, she finds herself heading for the dance when Jenna starts to follow her. She tells her to go back, but Jenna wants to know where she's headed. When she hears some Swedish girls from behind, she takes Jenna into the bushes and asks her to lie down. Leaving her sister behind, she appears at the dance, where she finally feels like she belongs. She also gets to experience what it's like being treated with decency and having the respect of those around you. Then, to put the icing on the cake, she meets a really cute boy named Nicholas Wakander, who reveals that he's from Uppsala through his conversation with his friends. Nicholas then invites her to dance with him, which she accepts. After the much-enjoyed dance, Nicholas finally asks her what her name is, but instead of introducing herself as Ellie Marja, she tells him that her name is Christina Lajler. I know it sounds familiar. That's because it's her teacher's name. Nicholas goes ahead to introduce himself too, but let's hope he's not also lying about his name. Ellie Marja then asks what it's like in Uppsala, and Nicholas tells her it's way better than where they are now. Ellie Marja then informs him that she'll be moving there soon. Don't ask me, we'll find out how. Nicholas then asks if she wants to go for a stroll, and who is she to say no? Soon rains on Ellie Marja's parade when she hears her name. She then notices her sister and the school secretary looking for her. In her poor attempt to escape Cinderella style, she asks where Nicholas lives and runs off after getting her answer. She'd have stayed longer if it weren't for Jenna reporting to the school secretary though, but she's immediately caught by the school secretary, who drags her away from the party. Back to the school, Christina asks Ellie Marja if she has anything to say about her actions, but Ellie Marja chooses to remain silent. She is then forced on her knees by the secretary and given a good beating. First by Christina, then by the school secretary. Following this event, Jenna gets angry at her sister and refuses to talk to her. Ellie Marja then goes to her teacher to inform her that she would like to further her studies in Uppsala. Christina then tells her that she would need a written recommendation, exams, certificates, and so on to do that. Ellie Marja then asks if Christina could write her a written recommendation, but Christina breaks it to her that she might be smart, but the Sami people don't have such intelligence for higher studies. She also tells Ellie Marja that she's better off with her family since the Sami people are known not to adapt well to urban settings. This enrages Ellie Marja, so she decides to run away to Uppsala. She forcefully takes her sister's belt to sell when her sister tells her to her face that nobody likes or needs her there. Ellie Marja then condemns the children, saying that they're just a bunch of idiots who can't think for themselves. She turns around to find the kids listening, but she still runs away and boards a train heading to Uppsala. She manages to steal some clothes from a woman on the train, and on arriving at Uppsala, she burns her gape tie. From there, she heads straight to Nicholas' home, having been told the address the day she met Nicholas. At first, Nicholas' mother, Elise, is reluctant to let her in, but when Ellie Marja tells the woman that her son has offered her an invite to stay over, she has no choice but to let Ellie Marja stay for a night. That night, Ellie Marja joins Nicholas' parents for dinner. She introduces herself as Christina and tells them she met Nicholas at a dance. She also lies about being from Småland and having a sister who works in Norrland. Later, Nicholas returns and is shocked to find out that Ellie Marja is in his house and borrowing his bedroom, but he doesn't mind and makes use of a different room instead. They seem really happy to see each other again. Nicholas' parents confront him about Ellie Marja. They reveal to Nicholas that she's actually Sami and asks if he's ready to take on the responsibilities if Ellie Marja gets pregnant. Ultimately, they suggest that she leaves their house immediately. When Nicholas goes to see her off, she offers to be the house cleaner, but Nicholas tells her that his parents have decided, but he tells her that they can still keep seeing each other. With nowhere to go, Ellie Marja is forced to sleep outside in their garden till the next morning. She finds herself walking into school grounds and to a library where she encounters the librarian warning her that students aren't allowed after the bells. She then takes Ellie Marja to the principal, where she requests to enroll, but under the name Christina Lajler. Afterwards, she joins the other girls, who don't seem to care about her existence as the new girl. She's given her uniform and asked to change before joining the girls for PE. But just then, the bell rings and all the girls exit the room, leaving only Ellie Marja. She then hides her carving knife before getting changed. After that, she joins the girls for PE, where she completely flops the exercises. After school, she goes back to get her things but is unable to find her knife. That's when she meets a certain girl who applies a little makeup on her and then shows her the knife. The girl wants to know why she would have a knife in her bag if she's not planning to kill someone with it. But Ellie Marja tries to get back her knife, and when the girl resists, Ellie Marja attacks her. But that was just the start of a budding friendship. Ellie Marja finally makes some friends, and just when she thinks things are finally going her way, she is summoned to the principal's office. Ellie Marja gets devastated once more when she's given a bill for 2 semesters of schooling, which amounts to 200 Swedish kroner. Where would she get all that money from? She probably thought school was free, like the one she ran from. Now her only option is to return to Nicholas. When she arrives at his house, she realizes that there's a birthday party for Nicholas going on. She joins the party and meets a few university girls studying anthropology. The girls are excited to meet her and are especially fascinated by the fact that she's from Lapland. The girls then ask her to yoik for them, but Ellie Marja is reluctant. After much persuasion from the partygoers, supported by Nicholas, she takes up the courage and starts to yoik. But unfortunately, after yoiking, she's greeted by silence and awkwardness. Feeling humiliated, she leaves the house, but is followed by Nicholas. He tells her that he thought her yoiking was nice. Ellie Marja then asks him for money for school, but Nicholas wants to know why she didn't go to her parents for help. She then lies to him that they're both dead. When Nicholas pushes her to speak the truth, she then reveals that she's really Sami, and that her real name is not Christina, but Ellie Marja. Disappointed and angry at her, Nicholas turns her down and goes to answer his mother's call. That night, she returns to the garden to sleep again. Afterwards, she boards a train heading back to her home. She arrives home the next day with cake for her mom and her huge resentment toward her family for being Sami after swimming with Jenna and realizing that Jenna is content with their lifestyle. She tries to talk to her mother about her dreams. That night, she shows her mom her papers, but her mother tells her that her name is not Christina Lajler. Ellie Marja then tells her mom that she's no longer Ellie Marja and suggests that she wants to sell her share of reindeer to pay for her studies. But obviously, her mother refuses, so she suggests that they sell their father's silver belt. Her mother yet again refuses, but when Ellie Marja starts to denounce her ethnicity and her people, her mother asks her to get out. Early the next day, Ellie Marja tries to catch a reindeer until she succeeds in catching one. She then kills it with hopes of starting from somewhere and selling them. Her mother then approaches her and without any words, she offers the silver belt to Ellie Marja to go ahead and sell for money and continue with her studies. As she watches her mother and sister walk away, we are brought back to the present with 78-year-old Ellie Marja, who now goes by Christina. She leaves the party and returns to the church where Jenna's coffin lies. And as creepy as it sounds, she leans in, resting her head beside Jenna's cold body, and she whispers an apology. Later, she heads into the woods and struggles to climb up a mountain from which she watches the calf breeders. And this is the end. This was a recap of the 2016 movie Sami Blood, written and directed by Amanda Kernell, starring Lenny Cecilia Sporek, Mia Eric Sporek, Maj Doris Rempe, Julius Flashandler, and Hannah Alstrom. So what did you think of this coming-of-age movie? Do you think Ellie Marja was right to just leave her people and pursue a life in Sweden? Let us know in the comments below with #CinemaRecap. Until next time.